The Pythagorean theorem is probably very familiar to you. It's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. They will give you this formula at the front of your section in the reference information. How would we use it? Well, here we've got a right triangle. We'll call this A, we'll call this B, we'll call this C. So we'll plug in our numbers. So we get 7 squared plus b squared equals 25 squared. Go ahead and solve this. We'll get b squared is 25 squared minus 7 squared. So 25 squared minus 7 squared, which is 49. We get 576. And then don't forget square root both sides. So we get 24. So that's going to be equal to 24. So how do we use it on a question like this? AB is 20. BD is 40. So this whole thing is 40. DE is 10. What does AE equal? You might be tempted, since we're looking for this, you might be tempted to try to like break this up, call this like, I don't know, 15, call this 5, do 2 separate Pythagorean theorems and see what the sum would be when you add up the hypotenuses. But that doesn't work because we don't know exactly what these are and we need to know exactly what these are. So there's a little bit of a trick here. The trick is as follows. Notice I could drop a line down like this, which is going to have the same length over here. It's going to have length 40. If I then extend this side to meet this point, meets at a right angle, this is 10 because DE is 10. So this whole thing becomes 30. And what I can do now, I'll do this in orange to really make it clear. I've got a right triangle with these dimensions. 30, I'll kind of draw it over here, 30 by 40 by x, whatever x happens to be. When you do the Pythagorean theorem, we should get our answer. So we get 300 plus, or no, 900 plus 1600 equals x squared. X squared equals 2500. We'll end up with x equals 50, which is your answer. Now, as a shortcut, there's something called the Pythagorean triples, and I recommend you learn these. We've seen some of these so far. The most important one is the 3, 4, 5. So if you do the Pythagorean theorem with all of these, they will work out perfectly. And if you see a triangle with 3 and 4, you know the hypotenuse is 5. If you see a triangle with 5 and 12, you know the hypotenuse is 13, and so on. So definitely learn these 4, the 3, 4, 5, the 5, 12, 13, 7, 24, 15, and the 8, 15, 17. Note as well that any proportional increase or any multiple of these would also be a special triangle. So if you multiply the sides by 2, the 6, 8, 10 would be valid. If you multiply the sides by 3, the 9, 12, 15 would be valid, and so on. And the same would be true of these. So definitely learn these. It's just a nice shortcut for some of these questions.